Yeah, but thank you so much for coming out to Malvern Books today. This is Malvern, June 26th. This is Malvern Books observation of the International Day for Support of Victims of Torture. It's a very important event around the world as we realize that the survivors of torture are way too many in number, and it's a problem that needs to be dealt with and admitted that it exists. And I'll just read a little bit here from the UN page about the date today. It's June 26th is the day that this is observed because on June 26th the resolution was ratified by the United Nations that there would it was the Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman, or Degrading Treatment or Punishment. And once that was ratified, it was a very important date for the legal foundation of torture being just not the standard that the international community was going to tolerate. And to once again cite this page, it says, because the problem that people need to address is that torture is a crime under international law. According to all relevant instruments, it is absolutely prohibited and cannot be justified under any circumstances. This prohibition forms part of a customary international law, which means it is binding on every member of the international community, regardless of whether the state has ratified international treaties in which torture is expressly prohibited. The systematic or widespread practice of torture constitutes a crime against humanity. Those are very strong words. Now, the thing is that, as we sadly know, torture didn't stop when this was ratified. And that, it's, no matter what you call torture, it's torture, and it is a crime against humanity. Whether you call it enhanced interrogation, extreme rendition, whether you keep it secret, whether you make it public and brag about the fact that you're going to do it, it doesn't matter. It is a bottom line crime against humanity, and it needs to be addressed as such. You can't escape that by changing the rules, as the memorandum of September 25th, 2001 by John C. Yu attempted to do, which, again, you let the lawyers in on this and they can justify anything. They can't, because anything can be worded differently. And if you read just the title, the memorandum, opinions for Timothy Flanagan, Deputy Counsel to the President, that being George W. Bush, the President's constitutional authority to conduct military operations against terrorists and nations supporting. Within that was the idea that you could do enhanced interrogation, and thereby led to the problems that were unearthed accidentally in Abu Ghraib later on, and it all came to a head. So while the problem of torture still exists, and we all need to be aware of it, and we need to work to stop it, today is the day to celebrate people who survived torture, because these people are in need of great assistance, whether they've been tortured by whatever country and for whatever reason. Because, again, to cite the United Nations page, recovering from torture requires prompt and specialized programs. The work of rehabilitation centers and organizations around the world has demonstrated, though, that victims can make the transition, and get this, from horror to healing. It can happen. So there are two steps in the observation of today. One step is that we've got to stop this mess. And we cannot abide people who would say that we need to bring it back, which is horrendous, and that we need to make it worse. Because the United States cannot be a country that says you can't do this if they do it. The other side of this is what we need to see, that we are taking care of survivors. We've got to find them, we've got to let them know that there is safe space where they can get assistance. And we're going to speak to all that today. So thank you so much for coming to Malvern Books. I forgot to ask who's going to talk first. Who wants to talk first? Steve, you want to go first and kind of give us an idea about the Center for Survivors of Torture and the CST that's located here in Austin and Dallas, which you're the director of.
I'm wondering how many people here today knew that we had a Center for Survivors of Torture here in Austin. Usually people are surprised that we have a center here, and that we actually cover all of Texas. We have an office on Swiss Avenue, also in Dallas, Texas. And our mission is to provide psychological services, social services, legal services, and medical services for survivors of torture and trauma. And all of our clients are from other countries. And they came here for safe haven, either as refugees by a resettlement agency. Our government brings about 70,000 refugees in each year to the United States, or political asylum seekers. And political asylum seekers, they're going through a legal process. And that legal process takes about 2 years or more. And so Center for Survivors of Torture provides those services while people are waiting for asylum court, and also so that they feel well enough to be able to support themselves in court. Because to go to court without support and without counseling will surely end in folks not receiving political asylum. They have to be represented, and they have to have services. So we're pleased to provide these comprehensive services, and they're all free. We're funded not only by family foundations, but the Office of Refugee Resettlement in the federal government. And so we're really happy that we're able to do this work. Again, our whole process is healing and helping people in transition. And it's not an easy process, because people come in and you ask them what their goals are, and it's not like therapy in Westlake or Tarrytown here. It's long-term therapy. People can come every day if they like, and they usually stay with us about 2 years. So we have to have highly trained folks there. There's about 1.3 million torture survivors in the United States, and they're our neighbors. They're already here, and people many times are surprised. People I meet all over are surprised to hear that. There's about 65,000 in Texas and about 7,000 in Austin, Texas. Center for Survivors of Torture is able to serve 700 to 850 torture survivors in Texas a year with our funding. As you might imagine, difficult name of an organization, torture in the name, and people sometimes get the wrong idea, but we also have to point to what we do. Texas is the largest resettlement state in the whole United States. We resettle 12% of folks, And if you think about it, the people aren't leaving their countries as refugees for no reason. Something has happened. Some traumatic experience has happened, and they wouldn't have been able to get their paperwork through. Most of our clients are from Nepal, Iraq, Democratic Republic of Congo. We use a lot of interpreters. Before, we used to be able to get people in ESL right away if they were from Nepal or some other countries where they've heard English before, but right now so many folks are speaking Arabic that we have to use interpreters all the time. As you know, survivors have, they survive atrocities, beatings, forced postures, and witness repeated violence. And that's why we're all about trying to help people heal, and in a very friendly, hospitable, slow way. When people come to our office, we drink tea with our clients, we wait. We don't take somebody in a counseling room and start talking about demographics. We get to know everybody, and we become like a second family, and we're probably the first Americans that people meet when they come to this country, and develop long relationships. So there is an urgent need for psychological care, physical care among survivors. We wish that we could help more survivors. At least 2/3 of, as Joe said, about 2/3 of countries still either torture people or support torture. And again, that was against what Joe talked about, against the June 26 UN General Assembly's view to eradicate torture. And it's certainly, we're not on that road. Before, our goals used to be to reduce symptoms for torture survivors, integrate survivors into the community, make sure that survivors had enough basic needs, food, shelter. But in March of 2015, we changed our goals, and we found that torture survivors come over here, and the jobs they have are usually cleaning hotel rooms. And that's lawyers, physicians, folks that were poets, all kinds of different employment. They used to, and then the resettlement agencies or other folks, because they can't get their credentials translated adequately, or nobody will accept them. For example, a 54-year-old veterinarian from Venezuela is not going to go back to Texas A&M to get certified, especially in ill health. Folks from other countries are coming over with really difficult physical conditions. A lot of folks that are disabled. But anyway, in March 2015, we decided that instead of ending our program with, we were happy that people had reduction in symptomology and reduction and also, integrated in the community, go to church, do things that folks would do. We decided we'd add an educational component, and that's been really a lifesaver for our clients, because the fact of the matter is, in order to feel good, you want to have meaningful work and be able to feel like you're part of going to school is feeling like you're part of America and part of a system of socialization that folks wouldn't get. So we are memorializing Adam Bratcher through our ABP education program, and that serves to register clients at our offices. As you know, it's really hard to register for college, almost impossible to figure out how to do that. Our clients would go to ACC and they'd say, well, you're an international client. And they'd start going through processes that it didn't work. People weren't able to register, people left upset, and didn't get to do it. So we met with Austin Community College, and at the highest level, and they were willing to let us register our clients at our offices. So the folks that either are funding our clients to go to school or ACC themselves, they come to our office and we're able to register folks for school, because the fact of the matter is that starts them on a pathway so that they can make more than $15 an hour. So our clients are either in a kind of an IT pathway or a nursing pathway or other pathways that they can get higher and higher level jobs, and it's working out really well. We've had about 34 clients now. We have and go through ACC, different things. Some people got certifications, but at least not only do they have that experience of being able to get better employment, but they have the experience of meeting other folks from our community and being part of that group. Austin Community College is also willing to hold classes at our center. So if we get enough people, say 6 to 10 people, and we want to hold a class that doesn't have labs, they'll do it there for us. So that's really important. It's not that our clients can't attend class and can't do it. It's that initial piece where we had asked for a single point of entry. And that took some time to get that. So we're real proud of the fact that now our objective is not only health, physical health and mental health, but also employment, meaningful employment. And previously our clients, like I said, they worked in hotels or chicken factories. I mean, just really, really difficult work that was not leading anywhere. So in closing, I would like to tell you about a success story. We had a student, a girl come to us from Ethiopia. She left her son in Ethiopia, and I met her at an immigrant homeless shelter across the Marinela, and she told me that she wanted to go to school and she wanted to get her son over, and I said, okay. So we went and registered her in school, and since then she met somebody that she liked. She got married. She had a baby. The son came over in the last 2 weeks. She graduated from Mount Holyoke University. So we're real proud of her. We also have an asylum seeker that I met years ago that had done his own asylum case because he was an attorney in his home country, which is a real mistake. And so when I met him, he didn't have any hope, and we got him an attorney at St. Mary's Law School. And then I think 6 years later he got asylum, and then he finally brought his kids over, and he just got accepted to St. Mary's Law School. So he's really happy about that. He's currently a cab driver. So we're excited that they were looking for diversity. And we have a family of 4 also that the mother indicated to me that her main goal was education for the kids. So we actually used our address because they were homeless for our office, and we happened to be in an area that fed into one of the best elementary schools. And those kids are now grown, and one of them is at Prescott College in Arizona. The other one is 2 are at ACC, and one's in AP classes in McCallum. And the only thing young son came and talked to me the other day about doing some community service at our organization. He's 15. And I said, well, how did that go for you going to that school, that particular school? Because again, the mother identified education was the goal. She's still holding her breath. She'll be happy when they graduate. And he said the hardest thing was the cultural thing. He said he was the only minority in the school. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't really think about that at the time, but, so sometimes we push people in certain directions, but it's still turning out great. So we're really happy. So in closing, our clients have endured the unimaginable. But we're always amazed at their level of wanting to forgive. And I can tell you that 100% of our clients have told me they believe in God, which was really, really interesting, that they have hope and forgiveness. So, thank you on this very special day.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm always puzzled by how people who've had such bad lives are able to get here. Like the lady from Ethiopia, how did she get here? Did
She
she get a
came-
tourist visa?
She came on a plane. That particular girl came on a plane. I think she has a sister here. She probably came on a tourist visa. A lot of people are coming through Central and South America from Nepal, Singapore. I mean, they go down all these different routes where you can get in places without visas, and then they come to the border and they're arrested and taken to detention. And then once they're in detention in Texas, there's 12 detention centers in Texas, more than any other state. Once they're in detention, they can bond out, they can get out and go to an immigrant homeless shelter and await their case. But they have to prove credible fear. But people are getting here through the Mexican border, definitely, or tourist visas, or athletes are coming, when they're over here. Sometimes it amazes me too, how many states and places, and people, bad things happen on route as well. But that's how most folks get here. The other folks, the refugees that are resettled, get here through one of 9 faith-based programs, and they're vetted in the other country before they get here. Thank you.